Hello and welcome. You're watching Sansad Television with me, Vishal, Dahiya, and this is our special presentation, the New India Debate. Now, India is the largest democracy in the world, and if you look at the demographic figures, then it is pretty much clear that we are a very young nation. And the reason why we are a young nation is because more than 60% of our population is between the age group of 18 and 35. And this young population is considered to be the best investor of a nation's potential and nation's talent. So we are going to talk about this particular section of the population in this particular show, and that is the youth of India. We'll try and find out the hopes and aspirations of the young population of India, and we'll begin this journey by talking about the idea of India. And to discuss this idea of India and also the challenges and opportunities therein, we are today in Bennett University in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and we have with us a group of young scholars, young research scholars, students, and we'll try and speak to them and find out as to what exactly do they think about the idea of India. So let's begin, and let's begin by trying to identify various threads by which we can describe in our own ways the way we look at India of today.
Hello, I come from a research background, so my idea of India should be more research driven. I think research and development is definitely the very important factor which decides the progress of a nation, which brings a nation forward. So I think research should be more appealing to the youth in sense of financial support, in sense of emotional support, awareness, the respect a research scholar or a PhD student should get in this society.
Okay.
And all kinds of support so that it can be more appealing for youth to come more and more in research so that our nation can move forward with that attitude.
Okay, okay. That's an interesting aspect.
I am Ashok Kumar. I'm from AC department.
Okay.
Actually, everyone, we are talking about the new India. So when we are talking about the new India, the research when we are doing, the research should be beneficial for the society purpose. If we are doing the research, if research is not used for the society and the civilized person, so this is a useless.
I just want to say that economy is a big factor which should not hinder the education system. So, like, government has provided various schemes in terms of research, but in various other sectors and departments, like in MBAs or any other, like teaching, economy should not hinder the education of any other child.
Okay.
That's my point. Like, everybody who is not financially independent or not capable of paying the fees should not be, able to pursue the kind of education the person wants.
Okay.
So that is one point. And another thing is the kind of efforts that we do as a research scholar, I do not think that we get the due amount that we should be getting.
Okay.
So I think government really should look into that.
Okay, but both pretty much valid points. First one where you talk about, equal opportunities for everyone. Everybody should get equal opportunity, and obviously those who are involved in research and innovation should get the due benefit. Yes, please, in the back there.
One point I wanted to mention, that if it is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, anywhere you go, or even the sports, there's one thing that lacks in the society, which is awareness. To encourage kids or the students to get into these things, like through scientific talks or counseling, this is, I think, which is very crucial, because how things work, how things go. So everywhere they get this, what we call it, orientation, that in case of biotechnology, how people work and what are the things people work, in applied sciences, what they're working with, in interdisciplinary courses, how they work.
That's quite interesting, the due benefit which she was referring to, my friend there is pointing out in terms of there needs to be a bit of inspiration there as well for people to go ahead and get involved. Yes, please.
My idea towards the new India is my aspiration for the policy makers, so that more and more people come to the research and development area, because as a nation we highly dependable on the imports, not specifically to the goods, in terms of the research also. So the policy makers should have to create a kind of an environment with the help of a new education policy at the ground level, so that more and more people should come to the research area and benefit our country.
Okay, okay. So that's a very important point which you mentioned out there, Ankit, and that's the education policy. And I'd like to link that to a very important aspect when we're talking about the youngsters, and that is basically the adequacy and relevance of the education or skills which we acquire vis-a-vis the labor market or the job market out there, in terms of do we or are we able to go ahead and build our career based on what we have learned or what we are learning? In those terms, if I have to understand from all of you, where do we stand and what we need to do?
I would like highlight to that the in terms of the self-confidence and self-motivation is very important. So whenever you do some research, then the self-motivation is very important. Suppose in most of the the China is the a biggest electronics component producer, and India is the biggest consumer. Although we have the very dynamic and young mind in India, and we can, because due to this lack of motivation, we are not trying to develop that kind of things. The components like nowadays the 5G and other 6G, there people are start working. So the people have to start to thinking in that direction.
Okay.
So this is the one thread. The one other thread is that the resources. Sometimes we lack in the resources, but sometimes we have the resources, we are not utilizing them in a proper way.
Okay.
So that we have to think about that.
Okay. Okay. So two aspects: proper utilization of resources and capacity enhancement. Is that what the thought here is? Anyone from this corner?
I would like to talk further what said earlier. Instead of resources, that is okay. Apart from that, creating the opportunity for the youth is also very important. So it should happen in all the domains. As you said, we have 60% youth people in India, but they are not getting the right opportunity at the right time. Either in terms of education, industry, employment. So there are many areas where government should need to work on. So creating new opportunity for the right people at the right time.
Does anyone agree with my friend out there that we're doing a lot, but perhaps a bit more push towards that area? Is that right?
We don't promote research on our media or entertainment field. We if we want to know what's going on in our research area. So if the new student, a 12th pass student or any BSc, MSc student wants to know that in which field there is good research work is going on. So media, main media or entertainment or any newspaper or anything, they never just give the news on the research. So we basically got influenced by we majorly watch the TV and entertainment movies and everything.
Okay.
So there is no such thing that we can just get to know about research or what's going on. So that's a big thing.
That's also really important, more exposure to this particular field, those who are working on research and innovation, and the kind of subject areas which they are working on, so that people around the country, around the world can know as to what is going on, just like we know about what's going on in Bollywood, Hollywood, or perhaps in the field of sports as well. Would you agree?
I would like to say that here also in the new education policy I have some hopes, because there are many things like skill development from the primary and to the later stages also, and in the technical education there are within the BTech or we have if student after 1 year he can go for a job or second year. So we are moving in the right direction, but lot of effort is need to be done also in this direction.
Okay.
And if I see in the rural background of our country, I'm from Haryana. I have seen many my schoolmates who are they because of lack of guidance also, and because of not that kind of skill-based education, now they are jobless. So we need to take care of these things, because we are around 1.35 billion population, and we will be facing lot of problems, because there will be food crisis also, and there will be lot of problems. So we need to find the solution of these problems. If we will not be awake now, then there will be a lot of problems from my point of view.
Okay. Now that's a really interesting and important aspect which you brought in there, and that's about talking about the rural areas and talking about all these hopes, all these challenges, and all this what needs to be done from a sectoral perspective as well. One thing which I would like to understand is how are we working on the front of use or utilization of technology, and then specifically utilization of technology, as my friend earlier was saying, from the perspective of finding solutions to the challenges in the society, and specifically those in the rural hinterland, in the rural areas. Where do we stand according to you, and what more needs to be done there?
I think we are having good technology, but still in schools or in rural areas, we are still just doing the theoretical study. We don't use the practical solutions.
Okay.
We still just remember the things. We are not in the practical labs also, we don't have the upgraded technology. We still using the theoretical process of examination. So we just
Okay, that's a wonderful thought. Let's hold it there for some time, and we'll come back. But let's take a short break here, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. We'll talk more about the hopes and aspirations of youth, all in terms of the challenges and the opportunities which we face right now, and the solutions which are there for these challenges. Stay tuned.
A nation, a leader, a government. Each journey has many milestones, many destinations. In the 75-year march of a nation, its goals achieved by a leader in 20 years. Sansad TV tries to understand how transformational they have been for the nation. Through the words and views of chief ministers of various states.
Now, in the entire country, Narendra Modi is very synonymous with good governance. Good governance means Narendra Modi.
Watch an exclusive interview with Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai in our special series, Samvad.
No force can stop the change whose time has come. An emerging global power in a fast-changing geopolitical environment. With a goal to modernize, to showcase our defenders who are always battle-ready. Watch our special presentations featuring India's defense forces and their capabilities in The Defenders, only on Sansad TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the New India debate on Sansad television with me, Vishal Dahiya, and we're here in Bennett University in Uttar Pradesh with a group of young students. Before we went into the break, we were talking about various aspects of the New India in terms of the challenges and the opportunities we have, and we're talking about how research and innovation can be used for better purposes. There was one friend who wanted to speak about the same aspect. Let me first start with you only. You wanted to add on to that aspect of how a lot more needs to be done and can be done on the ground as well.
Sir, I would like to make some few points. From the previous point, like my fellow mate, he previously mentioned that people come from rural areas and other places where resources have not reached, or they might be lacking with the communication. First point would be communication gap. So we have technology we have problems, we have a solution as well. But how do we get to them together? One thing can be done is to promote Make in India in all the sectors, in all the science, technology, and everything, that even after like research, you can have your own startup, how to promote that and how to get into that needs to be limelighted as well.
Okay, that's a wonderful suggestion. In fact, there are policies in place when we're talking about giving a push to the startups and putting them on the path to make in India, and that's all basically more focused towards making India self-reliant. But that's a good theme, and I'd like to hear more views. If anyone has to say more about this concept of making India self-reliant, and when we talk about making India self-reliant, it all starts from us.
We are talking about making India self-reliance. Let's talk in terms of GDP. When we go to GDP, we see that many of the developed nations, including USA, they spend 3.1% of their GDP in research and development. And when it comes to India, we spend only 0.65%. If we want to increase these things, we want to enhance entrepreneurship, we want to bring up industries in our country, we want to scale up things. We want to go to Mission 2030. We need to spend at least 2% of our GDP in research and development.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, that's pretty much a valid point. We need to obviously spend more on research and development if we want to see those results on the ground and connected with the needs of the society, of the community, and of the country as well. Any other thoughts there on what needs to be done? Yes, please.
So I would like to add to what my friend said. One important thing which should be added at the university level is that to boost entrepreneurship and innovation. And for that, certain courses are there, or the session should be taken for mind mapping, right? If we go more detail of what exactly is mind mapping, that is to create their own ideas, keep your thoughts without having a feel that the one will be humiliated. Because here what India lacks, they are not coming forward to keep up what they think, what their ideas are all about. This is the first thing. And second thing, since we are youths, and if we will get an opportunity, irrespective of our field, I would like to make one point that we all should have an idea about Indian stock market system. Reason being, it's very important to be financially smart, because if we want to grow up, it's not if I don't know how many of us are aware of one particular book, that is Rich Dad Poor Dad, wherein it quotes one important point, wherein the middle class family, they focus more on what work they should do to earn money, right? Whereas the rich dad, he says the money will itself work for us and more money will be earned with that. And keeping this idea in our mind, we should have an idea about what SEBI is, what funds are, what equities are, what mutual fund says all about it. So just to make young to know more about how to be financially smart in your future, just to become into that.
Okay, that's a pretty much valid point there as well. Financial literacy, I must say, and being financially smart is equally important when we're talking about the entrepreneurship, a spirit there as well. We can have skills, we can use them to be an entrepreneur as well, but we will have to be financially literate as well. Anybody would like to add to that part? Yes, please, there.
The people have to come out from their comfort zone first, and they have to take the risk. Otherwise, you cannot move forward. So that the three things that is very important. First is come out from your comfort zone, take risk, and then motivate others.
Okay. That's very aptly summed up there by my friend. And the most important coherent part of that summary is that we will have to take risks in life in terms of trying to do something new. All of you are research scholars here, most of you, and you're talking about how research is really important. And the other part is innovation as well. Innovation, creativity will only happen when we try and take a bit of a risk, try and find out new ways, new solutions there as well. But let me take all of you to a slightly relevant thread, but a different one. And let's focus, when we're talking about the youth of India, when we're talking about the idea of India, we have a number of young female friends here and male as well. The question which I'm putting is, are we doing enough to give more growth opportunities to the women in our country, specifically the young women?
When you're talking about youth, it's most, I mean, 18 to 35 is the age when generally young moms are there, right? And they are at peak of their careers. So in this age group, most of the talented women, they drop out their colleges, university, PhDs, or they take maternity, paternity leaves are on there, I know. But they usually prefer to give more time to their newborns and leave their career because they don't want to compromise on that. So from university level to companies, or there are in MNCs, there are crashes, there are nurseries for the newborn so that the mom can work at the same time the baby is fine and they can meet them midday and everything. In universities, there are few, not in all universities they are there. In MNCs also there are a few facilities like this, but it should be in everywhere, from small industries to big MNCs, everywhere this should be there so that a talented, efficient woman can work tension-free, so that the baby is there, they can visit them and they can still focus on their career.
Okay. So the point you're making out there is that it's not only enough to go ahead and provide opportunities to women, but also we will have to provide them an environment, an atmosphere where they can, make the most of those opportunities and don't lag behind. I'd like to hear, a few of my young male friends here on the question which I was putting before I go back to the female folk there. Any of my male friend who might have a thought on this aspect of what we need to do more, because as a society we will have to grow together, both male and female, both men and women. We will have to work together and grow together.
So at the solution side, I want to say that our focus must be, as we are thinking for smart India, so we should start from the small scale, like we should think of a smart village or smart town. So we have to identify the problem, what the problem which is significant for people, like the lack of doctors in smart agriculture. So first we should think of the smart town or smart village, then we can scale up the things. Because India is a very big country. So if we will see, if we want to see the smart India or the future of India, good future of India, so first we should start, youth should start from the small scale, like the smart town, which have all the facilities which are smart or intelligent enough. So then we can scale up the things easily.
Okay. So we'll have to start at the smaller level and then scale them up accordingly. Thank you.
They have to provide the freedom so that they can progress in the field of the research or whatever they want. So we have to provide that kind of environment to them.
Okay, definitely. We will have to, adjust as the women have been adjusting so far, and we will have to be a little more mindful of the kind of, challenges they face before they reach that particular stage and stand shoulder by shoulder with us. Yes, any other views on that aspect there?
Actually, I am adding some points regarding to empowering the women. Like, as we are living in the growing India, so we should give the chance to the women to achieve their career. Because if she grow, we grow, and our India grow. So we should give the chance, we should give the proper time and adjustment, so we can grow.
Okay, wonderful. That's a perfect way to sum up that particular thread there, that all of us will have to grow together. If she grows, then obviously he will also grow, and if both he and she grows, we as a nation will obviously grow there as well. Any other concluding comments there in terms of what we are discussing on both challenges, opportunities, and the idea of India and the new India which we are talking about? Yes?
Equal pay as well, pay scale.
Okay, that's also a very important point, something which we've been referring to. Yes, any other?
I think the government should take the positive steps regarding these things, research and innovation. It should start from the school level. The children needs to be understand what is research mean actually, so that they will, when they will grow up and when they'll at the stage when they can do the things, so they'll be able to perform a very good manner.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
awareness is very needful.
Okay, wonderful. A lot of work which will need to be done, as my friend there is pointing out. Thank you so much. Those were really wonderful ideas, wonderful thoughts and wonderful suggestions. As all of you have heard here, our young friends are pretty much mindful of the fact as to where are we heading as a nation and what is it that needs to be done, not only in terms of living up to the challenges, but also capitalizing on the opportunities which present before us. And the most important, obviously, amongst them is enhancing our capabilities and also working in sync with what is required at the ground level. That is really, really important. When we talk about research, when we talk about innovation, our friends are pointing out that we should look at what best will it give to our society. That's all we have in this episode of the New India Debate. We'll come back again from a different university with a different group of our young friends and obviously with a different topic and try and find their views and solutions as well. Keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.